Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome again to this week's version of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and I will turn it immediately over to Eileen Hansen, who will tell us what's going on in the bright village of Scottsville. Eileen, what's happening?
We're doing okay. To answer some of the questions you posed this week, first of all, we are still by appointment only in the municipal building. As I said before, we are in the town owns the municipal building, and we kind of follow their lead onto restrictions and everything. So it's by appointment only. We've been collecting taxes, and we really have had no problem with collecting that. They've either been sent in by mail or people make an appointment to come in. So it's worked out pretty well. One of the thing about businesses, you mentioned some businesses were closing permanently. We haven't had any of that in Scottsville that I know of. Mostly our food businesses are doing takeout, either have some outdoor seating or are distancing inside according to the guidelines. We have one though that is waiting for more inside capacity before it reopens. Our library has curbside pickup hours. You can call in and reserve books, movies, audio tapes, and pick them up curbside. They have hours on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from, I believe it's 10 to 2, and on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 6. Let's see. Our North Road, we have our North Road project going on. The Monroe County DOT is working on North Road. They are they're resurfacing the road and putting in new drainage, new sidewalks. So there can be delays on North Road, just to make everybody aware of that. Also, RG&E is doing a lot of work around the village, some of it on North Road. They've done some of that work already and are now working on connecting to homes. They're putting outside meters on, and they've been working through the Grove and a little bit on Rochester Street. Now, in the town offices, as I said, appointment only. The senior center is still not open. As for the town, summer camp has been going on for the past couple of weeks with limited numbers of campers, and they are 1-week sessions, and you can sign up for the week just before the week begins. As for youth sports, we have, I think, some baseball and some soccer going on, but they're not games, they are just practices and clinics for about an hour, and that's happening basically at Johnson Park. The big thing that's on our agenda, though, is that we have a public hearing coming up on Tuesday, August 4th at 6 p.m. in the municipal building. It is to consider and to get feedback from the public regarding a resolution to establish the joint Wheatland-Scottsville Fire District. This has been something that the village and town have been talking with the fire department about. It is something that they brought to us and we're asking for. We have gone over that and submitted a proposal to them, which we are opening up to public comment and public feedback on August 4th. So just so that you know, the way that meeting will be set up is that the two boards, the Wheatland Town Board and the Scottsville Village Board, will be together in the senior center. The meeting will be virtually held, so people can access it on Microsoft Teams. But we realize that some people will be more comfortable in person. So the conference room B, which is the courtroom, will be open for people who want to speak before the board. It'll be socially distanced. you will be able to view and watch the meeting from there. And people who wish to address the board will be brought into the board one at a time to give the board their feedback. And that's the main thing that we have going on. We have posters and boards out around the village and the town advertising this meeting. And I know we sent that off also to the Sentinel. So it's kind of a busy time for us right now. And that's what's going on in Scottsdale.
All right. Thank you, Eileen. John, how about John Correll? How about the village of Lima?
Thanks, Chris. We got a couple things going on right now. We have the water tower reconstruction and painting project beginning Monday, August 3rd. So you're going to see scaffolding and some tent activity going up around the water tower. That's a little over $1 million project. So when people want to know where their water and sewer bills are going, it's going to be very clear to see here in another 2 weeks. We've actually approved the Pathstone Corporation's 53-unit apartment development behind George Francis Restaurant. That's in its final stages of submittals through the planning board, but that's at this point is getting ready to move forward. We have a couple of businesses. The Lima Diner is reopening to some more regular business hours this week. You can find them on their Facebook page. We also have some new activity at Mark Tubbs Park. The Mendon HFL Storm baseball team, the 12U baseball team, is actually playing over there. Got to see a great game the other night. If you haven't been over, they won in the bottom of the sixth with a very well-placed hit up the middle. It was quite the celebration. So congratulations to them. It was great to see that. Look forward to seeing some more games over there. You also see some activity at the park on the other side of the parking lot. We've had some drainage installed where we'll be fencing off and having our first off-leash dog park. That'll be coming probably in the spring. We're going to do some overseeding in the fall and fencing, and then open to the public sometime in the spring of 21. We do have a meeting, a public meeting on Tuesday at 7 p.m. It's at our regularly scheduled board meeting. We'll be hosting it at the town hall. More than likely, we'll be in the basement of the town hall due to the social distancing, but we will have a public information session regarding the New York State it's actually the federal DOT project, sidewalk connectivity project. We've got a grant to install a little over $500,000 worth of sidewalks, connecting some of the outlying neighborhoods and finishing sidewalks where there are none currently to create a more pedestrian-friendly village inside of Lima. So if you have questions or there more information, and the plan is actually on the villageoflima.us website. You can certainly go there and find that out, but we'd love to see you at the meeting. We do have the Lima Library is back open again for curbside. You can give them a call or find more information on the website as well. And one of the most important things in the water and sewer is the difficulty of paying bills. And we're going to address that issue this fall, and we'll be migrating to an online billing and payment system. So you'll be able to set the auto payments from your checking and savings account, just like you do with the rest of your bills. So we're pretty excited to get that up and running. It's a pretty big project that our new clerk and the Deputy Mayor, John Waddick, is actually assisting with. So that'll be much needed, much improved process for bill pay. We do have a townwide parade scheduled for August 2nd, starting at 1 p.m. in South Lima. Information on the Facebook page, as well as the town and village websites about the parade. The Crossroads Cancel was officially canceled. The concert series in Lima has been canceled. So in lieu of that, we're trying to encourage people with trailers. If you're familiar with the Crossroads Days, the bed race is one of the most watched activities. So you can make a bed, put it on a trailer, put it in the parade. They're going to be giving out some prizes for floats. So we hope everybody can spread out, social distance, and it's going to go through the majority of the roads in the town and some of the bigger roads in the village. But hopefully we'll see everybody on the 2nd. And Chris, I didn't know if you wanted to address in your questions to us, the Fanatics concert series has been canceled indefinitely at this point. They actually, excuse me, no, they were actually cited by the Liquor Control Authority through the state for the very first concert that they had. They followed definitive guidelines from other municipalities that have done this in the past. Myself, the Department of Health from Livingston County reviewed and approved their plan. We felt that it fit within the New York State Phase 2 drive-in theater guidelines, but they said that since concerts were not approved, that the liquor agency actually did cite Jim Shelley at Fanatics. So right now we have Assemblywoman Marge Burns and Senator Gallivan are taking up that with the Liquor Authority and with the governor. Unfortunately, this was something that we thought was very well done, very thought out, and approved by multiple agencies and throughout the county, and really was something that was encouraging for our community, and is now stripped back an opportunity for a very industrious business owner to make some additional revenue during this time. It really has hampered his ability to do business, and we're certainly going to take up his cause and see if we can rectify that and get the concert series back in Lima that had been incredibly successful, very well attended, and also very well managed by Jim Shelley and his team. So we're still waiting to hear the results of some of the feedback from the senator and the assemblywoman.
This was the state liquor authority that cited him?
Correct, and it was the very first concert in June, and he just received notification. So
really, just now? Well,
that's the way it goes. And they weren't able to provide clear guidance as to steps to move forward. And so they recommended he stop the shows, which he immediately canceled. So unfortunately, that will definitely take a toll, and it certainly hurts to see that happen.
Mm. Yes, that is too bad. Well, we'll definitely, this will be brought up in the paper. I'll talk to Donna and make sure that it's covered somehow, maybe just as a blurb, but we'll see. All right, anything else in the village of Lima?
No, I think that pretty much covers the village, Chris. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, John. Jerry, how about the town of Rush?
Well, after listening to Eileen and John, I am now going to decide where to go for entertainment and all that stuff, either Scottsville or Lima. In Rush, we're dealing with trying to get our town hall open for residents to come in and conduct their business. I thought we'd be open by now, but because of glitches that occurred in the installation of sneeze shields and AC unit breakdown, we are still by appointment only, but I remain hopeful that maybe by the end of next week, we can go to walk-in service, and look forward to that. We do have reservations for our Judicious Pavilion are starting to stack up, That's a very popular place that people rent in Rush. And it's good news to know that people are starting to schedule that, reserve it, and that's a good thing. The town hall, as I said, we hope to be open by the end of next week to walk-in traffic. Our 3 food establishments are still awaiting approval to be able to go for sit inside dining. And that's a frustration to many people because we have those 3 establishments and they are all under the control of the executive orders, and we're still waiting. Other than that, things are very, very quiet in Rush. People are behaving. Everyone is behaving. And, I would mention that we're probably right on the threshold of repairing that major library roof leak that has plagued us for 15 years. And it's not something I'm excited about because of the cost, but I am excited about it because it will put an end to a very frustrating situation, and hopefully we can get that done this year. Other than that, Rush is the best kept secret in Western New York.
Every week it is. So, Todd, how about the town of West Bloomfield and maybe broader insights on Ontario County, how they might be handling some of these things that we're getting from Albany?
Sure. Thanks, Chris. Specifically to the town, not any real significant changes. Have completed most of our highway projects. As far as the oil and stone projects, we work pretty closely with a couple of other surrounding towns. So we do a couple days here and a couple days there to help with the trucking, et cetera. So those intermunicipal agreements with, like East Bloomfield and Bristol and Richmond, for example, kind of help out the smaller towns just because of the size of the workload and the number of people in the specific highway departments. Our town hall continues to be open, appointments requested just to try to minimize the interactions and the number of people within the facility. We are still kind of trying to continue finishing our project. We still have some grading and site prep work to do around the construction of our new town hall. So we're in there, but not fully completed as of yet. Ontario County, in general, I think our testing rate is now under 1%. We do start to see this week more complaints coming into the Department of Health and the 911 center in regards to people calling either about businesses or people not wearing masks within businesses. Lots of questions about people who have traveled and whether they are quarantining or not. The Rochester Airport is doing a pretty good job communicating with the Departments of Health for people that have come through the airport, but folks that are driving in from other places are not necessarily consistently quarantining. So while it may feel like you are tattling on your neighbors or some of their guests, it is important to be aware that there are always, there will be states, at least currently there's over 30 states that are in that New York, quarantine. It's okay to call if you have a question or a concern to make sure that we're really doing the best that we can to protect everybody. And the advice continues to be wear a mask, wash your hands, stay socially distant. So that would be my advice to carry on with. And I will mention this week and probably for the next 3 weeks, the West Bloomfield Rural Cemetery, their board is having an issue finding members, trustees, etc. There will be what's called a reorganizational meeting held at our town hall on August 27th. So anybody who is in the area that is either a deed holder or a lot holder that has any interest in seeing the cemetery continue as a separate entity would be encouraged to attend that. It's August 27th. It'll be at 7 o'clock. If they don't get enough people to step up and become trustees and officers, then it would likely end up being transitioned over to town ownership. And then the town would have to make some decisions about whether we would continue to sell plots and what we would be doing in regards to future operations of that cemetery.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Todd. And John Moffett, Town Supervisor, Mendon. Tell us a little bit about what's going on there, and give us some more insights on the local business situation too. After you talk about what's going on with the town.
Sure.
Go ahead, John.
The thing I would mention to Todd is that we went through a somewhat similar situation with the cemetery recently. So feel free to give me a call if you'd like to discuss it. As far as what's going on in Mendon right now, we're winding down our comprehensive plan. They've been meeting for over a year now, and we're hoping that we'll have that settled by late summer, early fall. There'll be a public meeting within the next month or so where individuals from the community can come in and review the plan. And then after that, it'll go to the town board for our review and an official public hearing, and then hopefully adoption by fall. The youth baseball, as John alluded to, is up and running. They're obviously working within the confines of the COVID situation, but they are up and running. We're beginning to work on the 2021 budget for the town of Mendon. Too early to tell. And of course, we're still waiting for our sales tax numbers for the second quarter, which should be out in the next week or two, I would imagine. So we're hopeful, but that will be something we'll be paying attention to as far as planning purposes for the 21 town budget. The Honeoye Falls Fire Department is contracted, or I should say the Village of Honeoye Falls is contracted with the Honeoye Falls Fire Department to provide service for the Fire Protection District, the Mendon Fire Protection District #1. And they've had quite an expense for radios in their village budget. So that is something that we've been talking to the village about as far as how these radios are going to affect the fire protection contract. So the Fire Protection District is out of Mendon. And we have historically contracted with the Village of Honeoye Falls for fire protection for that area. So we'll be looking at the cost of these radios and how that's going to affect our residents in that area. This does not affect the Mendon Fire District. That is a separate district. As Eileen talked about fire protection and fire protection districts earlier, it's not an easy thing to get your head around for most residents, but it is something that we do have to deal with on a regular basis. Also, we have today, actually at 1 o'clock today, bids were due for our charging station that we are anticipating putting in at the Mendon Public Library for electric cars. So I wanted to thank the Village and Town of Lima for providing some background information because they've already been through this, and very helpful information that we were able to utilize to get our request for proposal out for that. So that we'll be looking at that shortly. And of course, the town of Mendon, the tax collector for the Honeoye Falls Lima School District for residents of the town of Mendon and the town of Pittsford, or I should say, I'm sorry, the school district, Pittsford School Districts. There's about 180 parcels within the town of Mendon that are in the Pittsford School District. So our town clerk, Jim Mirsky, collects those taxes. So we've been talking to the school districts about the possibility of making credit card payments available to cut down on the traffic in Town Hall. We are open at Town Hall, open to the public. We do have safety measures in place due to COVID-19. However, anything we can do to reduce traffic in the future would be a benefit to both residents and personnel. And finally, I just want to mention to all residents to please, support our local businesses. I think all communities have seen how many problems have occurred for local businesses to stay open under these conditions. And we of course, in the town of Mendon, Village-Honeoye Falls, have seen some that have closed or not opened or been open limited hours or being for sale now. And I just want to remind everybody to please support our local businesses because we want them to survive this pandemic.
Did you want to say anything specifically about Miller Lanes or anything like that? That news that just came out.
Not specifically. I mean, I haven't spoken to Brad, but I know that I know it's for sale, as well as various other commercial property within the town, and of course, including the village. I mean, you know, we've seen the Black Horse Bistro, Custom Brew Crafters, CB's, the brewery in the Village-Honeoye Falls, now the bowling alley. You know, we've seen too many dominoes falling at this point. So, you know, it's just something we all need to be aware of and try to support these businesses as best we can.
Is there anything that could be done in terms of percolating up concerns to the regional board or whatever it's called that the governor set up so that, you know, so the magnitude of the situation isn't lost on the people in charge?
Well, I think a lot of that has been relayed. I mean, I'm listening to Jim Shelley's situation in Lima. I attended his first outdoor concert drive-in, and I thought the rules were followed. I thought people were very cognizant of those rules, and certainly everyone was just thrilled to have any kind of a venue like that available. And I know Rick's not here today, but I know the Village-Honeoye Falls has their concert series on Tuesday night, and they've had those have been very well attended.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you that our state's situation has not gone unnoticed. We had word from a public relations director in Los Angeles, California, a longtime supporter of Cuomo, I think, who said basically now that he's gone after chicken wings, he's dead to me. So it's, you know, we make light of this situation. Maybe we shouldn't, because it really does impact individual businesses, and it would help if maybe we had a little bit more sensitivity, but that's my opinion, not anybody else's. So, all right, anybody else have any other last minute thoughts or ideas to add that they might have missed?
Sure, I always do. You know, I was the first one on, so I get to hear everybody, and then I go, oh yeah, I should have mentioned that. Anyway, we are doing a new sidewalk on Owaka Place. Our DPW has been pouring a new sidewalk, digging it up and getting that all settled. The heat has slowed down the work a little bit because they've been adjusting their hours with the heat that we had. But they are moving right along, and that should be finished shortly. The only other thing I want to mention is I'm trying to remember if I had mentioned it last time about Canawagas Park, which is right on Owaka Creek and the Greenway. And we are having issues down there because it has been put on social media. And now on the weekends especially, we're getting, you know, 100+ people down there. And they're, you know, it's one of those things, they're not social distancing, they're not wearing masks. And I understand the whole draw of being outdoors, of the water, and it being a nice place to relax and have a picnic. I've had a meeting with the manager of the Greenway, Kristen Uribe, our DPW, and at the meeting I had a representative from the DEC police, the Monroe County Sheriff, the state troopers, and the park police to kind of decide what we need to do down there. And I think because of the fact that it has become publicized, that at this point we have to sit down and we're working on some rules and regulations for the park because it is getting a little overwhelming. So that's on our books right now. We don't have anything set at the moment, but it's something we hope to have in the near future so that we can control the situation a little better. You know, it has been just a very local park for years and years with a, you know, few kids down there in the creek and people walking their dog. But now it's become a very busy place. So we have to look at it, and the parking is a problem. So we are taking a long and hard look at that. Just to update everybody that we are aware of the situation and we are addressing it.
All right, great. Thanks, Eileen. Everybody else all set? With that, we want to thank all of our viewers for participating in this week's Mayor and Supervisors Update. And we'd invite you to come again back next week, Sunday at 1 o'clock, here on your favorite channel, whatever that may be. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.